Hi guys, how we doing? So it's been a minute. I have been a little bit on the busy side of late. Plus we got our power knocked out for a few days. But I am happy to be back and ready to actually do a few days worth of videos. I don't know if you guys caught my short, but we've had a couple new additions. Deimos has definitely been a popular new subject, but we did also acquire Fizzgig, the, I think, incorrectly labeled little fancy bear Syrian hamster. He's been with us for right at a week now, and he's shown zero aggression whatsoever. So I think the fact that he did bite a good handful of people just shows that he was not being handled properly to start with. But as he settles in and as I get his enclosure just a little bit more the way I want it, you'll be seeing more and more of him. Not sure how much you can see. I am over here actually mixing up a skin tone for this little gentleman. This is one of those things you can never just do it perfect right off the bat. It takes some doing and some work and some mixing. Because the things they call skin tone are never quite as skin tone as I'd like them to be. This is getting there. I like to assume because they're out in the yard, they would be, kind of tanned a little bit, so we don't want him too pale. We also don't want to go too dark with him either, so that's where it gets a little bit tricky. Let's not do that again. We made that mistake last time, and he has a very glittery beard because of it. Another wonderful and fun thing is we are actually filming on a new phone. This one actually has a higher megapixel rate, and obviously it's newer, so it's going to be a little bit clearer. Has some features that I'm definitely going to be playing with in time. Like, it actually does have the ability to do slow-mo, which I think is really cool and going to be quite fun to play with. Let's try and add just a little bit more of this. There we go. That should lighten this up that last little bit. It's hard to do a tanned skin tone and not come off almost dirty looking, which is why you see me over here adding white to this. But we're actually pretty close to the tone that I was looking for. So I think we're going to test it on his little hands back here and see what we think. And I think that's about right. Now I am going to... One neat thing we can do is I can actually zoom in a little bit there. We'll have to come back out, obviously, at some point, but that at least lets you see a little bit more of the details that they put into these hands. Now, if they weren't kind of just stuck behind his back, I would probably go really bonkers having a ball working on these details. But unfortunately, because they're not going to be a main focal point, I'm not going to go super, super crazy on them. I am going to switch to a slightly larger brush now that we've got that part done. Let's see. I just don't like to waste paint, so, well, my paint ran away. Well, I guess this is one time getting paint on my hand isn't such a crazy bad thing. So I figure what we'll do, we'll go ahead and get his skin tones done, and then we'll get the little bit of grass here between his feet. That won't take us but a few minutes to do. And then this little gentleman will be done. I do apologize for not being able to make it on yesterday. I know I usually do something on a Monday, but I did work. We've been a little bit short-staffed at work, so I've been picking up a few extra shifts. I don't tend to do that much if my partner isn't home, but when he is, a little bit of extra income is never a bad thing. So I'll pick up an extra shift here and there, and it takes a little stress off of them at work and gives us a little extra cushion, which is always handy when you're trying to build something up. And it's kind of funny, we keep ending up with more pets than we had ever planned, but we're kind of okay with that. I'm kind of curious what you guys' thoughts are. We're actually kind of kicking around the idea of eventually starting our own rescue, because where we live, there's almost no place for people who realize they've gotten in over their heads to take their exotics. So we're kind of thinking it might be something kind of neat to do. Little one, you do not belong there. I have a very stubborn, very tiny little spider has decided to take up residence there. I know a lot of people are kill it with fire types. I am not. He is more than welcome to keep the bug population here down, just I don't want to accidentally paint him, so we had to move him. We're just doing his little ear real quick. There we go. Let's go ahead and come around and do the other ear. So very soon, I am going to do a short video where I, let me zoom this back out and just kind of pan around a little bit. We are going to be finishing the eyes on this guy, and I've decided not to go quite so crazy bonkers trying to get his gems absolutely 100% perfect, because I was really thinking about it, and he's going to be outside. He's going to be in my yard. It stands to reason that most of his gems are going to end up kind of hidden in the grass. So if that's where I put more of the detail, that is going to eventually just be lost. And it just seemed kind of silly to me to just keep sitting on this thing, trying to make it more than I really need it to be, Now, that's not to say I won't go back eventually and go ahead and do that. But for the time being, I think it just makes more sense to get him out where he can be seen. Okay, so sorry about that. Still figuring out all the details with the new phone, and unfortunately my phone was trying to save the entire video to the tiny little video card that I have in there, which obviously is not going to work. So I'm going to have to go in and move the first half out where I can access it a little more easily. The only thing you guys missed was me really going on about my plans after this little gentleman. And that is tomorrow we're going to start the bird. And then after the bird, we'll do the other little gnome. And then we have the final. I think the couple needs to be the final piece. But we have some skin tones. I do apologize that you guys had to miss a good chunk of that process, but stuff happens and you can't really freak out about it too much. So, we're gonna do a quick mix here and make messes because messes are fun. We want the grass to be kind of a rich green, which is always fun finding the tones I'm looking for. Pardon me as I'm bonking into stuff. That's just par for the course. Make sure it's not too close to the tone of his pants, and I think we're good. So, I'm going to tilt you guys down just a little bit here. And I think we're going to tilt him up just a bit here. And you can see why I didn't want to match the color of his pants. Because it does kind of come up between them a little bit. And this part doesn't have to be 100% perfect because grass does not sit 100% perfect. I just don't want to leave any weird white spots. Other than that, you know, we are doing pretty good. There's a little white spot right there, so we'll fix that. So now he's got some grass between his feet. And we're going to turn him around and do the other side. And once again, it doesn't have to be perfect. I love just adding little details to stuff like this. I just think it's kind of fun and kind of different. And hopefully this time it doesn't cut me off mid-sentence. That's kind of the fun of learning a new camera or a new phone, though, is just having patience until you get it figured 100% out. There we go. So I think this little gentleman is done. And I just think he has come out to be so much more cheerful. I think we are going to, before I call him done, we're going to take this little guy that's just super roughed up. I'm going to put my other brushes in water so they don't get that way. I'm going to take my light pink here, and I am not even going to put it in the thing because I don't need much. We just want a little suggestion on his cheeks and his nose. Pardon me while I'm arguing with my pink paint as to whether it's going to come out. There we go. Just a little dollop in the lid. Just to give him that little bit of a rosy glow. Go across the bridge of his nose. Make him look like he's been sitting in the sun a little bit. And just a little hint for that lip. And that just brings a little bit more life to him. Makes him that little bit sweeter, I think, to look at. That's a little more than I meant to do. Just that little bit of rosiness just helps, I think. And I think we are officially done with this little gentleman until I can pick up the stuff to do each of the eyes. And as I said before, I think we'll do an eye episode. And we might even go ahead and finish the dragon's eyes in that process. So tomorrow we'll start on the bird. And until then, I will talk to you guys later.